Hello everybody, my name is Captain Aaron Remy and I'm getting you guys dialed in on how to get your drag set properly and to make sure you are able to get your fish in a timely manner and not have a risk of losing your fish due to a faulty drag setting. So first of all, there are several different types of reels out there. Majority of the reels nowadays are becoming lever drag, like this Accurate right here. The lever drag is basically what that is the drag system on the right side of the reel is a lever, so it all the way back would be a free spool, and then the lever part is as it moves forward, it increases the drag setting on the reel, and then there's a strike position, and then I'll go over that later. And then after the strike setting, there's a button you can usually push, and then that'll continue to increase the drag setting to further increase your drag setting if needed. One thing I do want to talk about is properly setting your drag with a lever drag. This is just something that I've seen happen being on the water with people, is how I set up drag systems for myself and for other people when they ask for my help is I set the drag to the strike position to where you can put the lever all the way forward to where it doesn't stop. Will not continue, will stop going forward. And for that reason is that way you could set the hook without having to look at the reel. You can focus on what's going on instead of having to focus on your reel to make sure your drag is in the right position. Sometimes I've seen people in the past, they don't set the drag properly to the strike position. They set it further back, and sometimes it's a lot less drag than what's really needed, and you might not get a proper hook set, and or the fish could take off more line that's what needed to be taken out. So, like I said, I can talk about, I set my drag to where it's to the strike position, and then that way the drag is the same once I put it in gear, and then I don't have to worry about really futzing with my drag setting because it's set properly. So that's one less thing you have to worry about. If your drag sets properly, you can continue to fight your fish, and you have to have more concentration on what your fish is doing, looking in the water, as in following your fish, and not having to worry about your drag setting. The other type of reel that has drags is the star drag system, and that's basically it has a lever similar to this, which is completely free spool, and or once it's pushed forward, it can't go. It's to the strike position, and then it has a little star on the side, and that's how you adjust the drag setting there. To adjust the drag system, you need to have your reel all the way in free spool to where it won't go. There's a little lever right here on the side, the drag adjusting. It's a little spring aided, and then so to tighten your drag, you would actually take this knob and you would tighten it, forward, just like your drag lever. Forward more the tighter, and then further back would be less tighter. So if you have to adjust your drag, get it to where you want it or you think it needs to be, put it to the strike all the way forward, test the drag. Okay, see, that's a little too loose, so you go back to free spool, tighten it up a little bit more, put it back to strike, and then that feels about right for what your pound test fishing is. The other thing, like I said, that the great thing about these lever drags is they have the strike position, and for whatever reason, if you're fighting a fish and your drag system gets worn down, you can still get more drag out of your reel by just pushing this button in simply and pushing it a little bit further forward, and now your drag is just a little bit more tighter. And then once again, you can go to where a full position is, that's all the way forward, and that should be extremely tight. It still will give you a drag system. The reason it's really important to check your drag is, especially after fighting fish, you got to look at your drag systems on your reels like brakes on your car. They wear out after you catch a couple fish. The drags get hot. They wear out a little bit, so it can actually theoretically back your drag system off a little bit by having a fish pull a bunch of line off. So it's really, really key to, after catching a fish, to put your drag into the strike position and check it to make sure it feels or it's the same spot it was when before you caught the last fish, because maybe sometimes you have to make a little adjustment. It's going to have to be a little tighter, probably because you wore some of the drag system down. Drag setting is key. It's absolutely key. After every fish, you should check your drag, make sure it's set properly. And, you know, I mean, it's not a bad idea to ask the crew. The crew, they do it for a living. We do it every day. So, I mean, if you have any doubts, you know, you can set your drag to where it is and then go, hey, guys, can one of you guys check my drag? And we'll be glad to check your drag for you. And then that way you can also get a feel for, a lot of times guys think that their drag is set already too tight, and to where the crew or myself will set the drag, it'll be a little bit tighter than what people think. And, you know, we obviously don't want you to break the fish off, so we're not going to set it too tight. We're going to set it to where we feel it's the most effective, proper setting for your drag setting. This is a perfect example of what you can come out on the Searcher with. This is an accurate reel met up with a seeker rod. This is one of our hook and hand setups. So if you came out with us, this is a rod and reel right here that you would be able to try and get a feel for, you know, Accurate's awesome drag settings and Seeker's awesome rods. So next time you come out with us, if you want to try one of these rods, be free to ask, and we'll get you guys set up with a hook and hand rod and reel by Accurate and Seeker rods.